Esteban, great to see you. Happy New Year. You look well rested, well wintered. How are you feeling heading into yet another campaign?
I feel good. I feel motivated. Ready. We had obviously a good winter break to reflect on everything and just to recharge the batteries and come back strong. I said before I've been really ill, during the winter. So I've had to put a lot of effort to try and come back to the best level possible in fitness, and I've done so. So a bit of a challenging one, but happy with the result and ready to start now.
And you come off the back of a really strong campaign, maybe even your strongest ever in Formula One. That must give you a lot of confidence heading into this year.
Yeah, it does give me a good confidence starting, this year. One more year with the team as well. Continuity of the previous role, of Formula One. So we know what to work on. We know where to progress, and yeah, it is good to catch up with everyone again at the factory and ready to go.
So when you say you know what to work on, what do you need to work on?
Well, we need to work obviously on the consistency as usual, trying to perform, weeks after weeks, trying to develop the car as much as we can during the season, but identify really the issues that we are going to face early on to be able to provide the team the best info, during the season then. Last year we didn't start the best way that we wanted, but we finished, quite strong. So the rate of development was very high, and this year we're going to try and start a little bit stronger and develop the same way. So hopefully that's going to close, the gap with the cars in front of us.
In talking to Matt Harmon, the technical director, he was talking about how they've gone for another aggressive approach to this year because it was so successful last year, even with the reliability. That's exactly what this team kind of needs to do, right, if it wants to close the gap to the top three.
Exactly. The mindset is correct in the team. Taking the risk to have a car that performs, is the aim. After that, the issues obviously that we faced sometimes last year with reliability, those things can happen with a new car. It is completely normal, but with time, you fix those. But you don't want to be at the back and have a car that finishes all the time. That is not our aim. This is not how, competitive we want to be. We want to be, fighting with good potential. And I'm very happy with the approach that we've taken. I'm fully on board, and hopefully we can, as I said, extract the maximum out of the car every race and just build, a very strong machine.
You spent a fair bit of time with this team, like you said, you kind of head into this year with a good foundation. What have you seen that's changed during that period of time, and have you seen Alpine now kind of almost morph itself into this kind of operation that can be punching above its weight and fighting for the top honours?
Yeah, I mean, since we became Alpine, there's been a clear change. Just in terms of targets, basically that have been set, in terms of, how detailed we need to be, even just simple things, but how good the car looks now, from very close, all the little details, all the finish, on the fins of the carbon, and all these little things are things that can be hidden sometimes, but they make a difference in the end. And clearly now, with the development we've done last year, and how much everyone's been pushing to try and get parts during race weekends, this has made a significant difference. I've been super impressed about what we've done last year during the season, and I think this is the start of something great for us, and hopefully in the right trajectory.
So in terms of when you look at this year and the targets that you set, what would constitute a good campaign for you?
Obviously, what we missed, last year was a podium finish. This is clearly something that I want to step back on. Finishing on the podium would be something definitely awesome for us to achieve. But yeah, I think more importantly, to close the gap on the third place in the constructors. So, if we finish fourth again, which is not a given, it's always a difficult task to reach. But if we finish fourth, very close to third, I think that would be a a very good and solid season. But yeah, if we can close that gap to the third place, that would be definitely an awesome season. So yeah, we keep that in the back of our mind. We are going to focus on ourselves first, get testing right, extract all the best that we can from there, and prepare ourselves the best as we can for the first race.
Great stuff. We've got Pierre coming in this year, and I think I saw some pictures on social. You was hanging out with him at basketball, was it?
We did basketball. We've been in Sweden as well together. So yeah, we've done a fair amount of things. Yeah.
Looking forward to kind of working with him this year. I know you were childhood friends, and there's been various things in between, but it looks like you guys are getting on really well.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, with Pierre, it's going to be a great year. He's joining the team, I think, in the right moment, in the moment that we are also going up, as progressing. So we both have the same, targets. We want to fight at the front. And I'm sure, together we have a great story to write together with this team. So, yeah, I mean, if people would have said that, one day we would be racing for one of the top teams in Formula One, I think we would have been so happy when we were little kids, and now that is the case. So, yeah, it's more than awesome, and yeah, I can't wait to get started.
In staying yourself at the team for another year and the other seat changing, do you feel a little bit like you're a team leader of sorts, and the team losing the experience of Fernando last year and the World Championships, but you beat him last year, and you've really been here a leader in the team. Do you feel like that?
I feel like I need to keep doing the work that I was doing last year. It's something that was working well. Each driver is a leader in one way. Me and Fernando last year, we had the same approach. The same feedback, for the team, and we were completing each other, on many different aspects. But there was not one leader or one guy that was not leader. We are two number ones, and I expect that to be the same thing anyway this year. But of course, the important is for the team to get Pierre, as competitive as he can be in the beginning, and I'm sure that will be the case. The team has a lot of experience, and yeah, I can definitely use that well in the beginning to identify what we need to work on. But yeah, there's no reason to change anything for me on that side, and yeah, I will focus on myself and try to get the maximum out of this little beauty.
Do you feel a lot stronger as a driver heading into this year? I guess you always make progress year in, year out because of the experience, but in terms of the way you are heading into this year, do you feel different?
Yeah, I mean, I feel stronger than ever, I would say, because the continuity with this team, getting a lot more years under my belt, knowing last year's car very well. It's been difficult to understand how things were working with this car, but now that we have a second year with the same regulation in the end, and the same team and the same people around me, I think it is a good moment to keep stepping up. So no, I feel good. I feel that the experience and knowing things is helping me over the time, and that my progression hasn't come to an end yet. So as long as I feel that I'm progressing, I'm happy.
Now, just finally, Alpine are the final Formula One team to launch their car this year. And
are we?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
So on the 16th. So just leaving it to the bitter end allows the team to push for development to production. How excited are you about launch days and that feeling and seeing the new car and just the opportunity of so much hope, isn't there, for the year?
Yeah, saving last for best, or best for last, as you want to call it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I should say that, but we're driving the car before it launches. So yeah, the car is going to be ready, that's for sure. Yeah, it's always an exciting moment, when you launch the car officially. There is a lot of of work that has been done during the winter from so many people, and it's the time that we reveal our weapon for the year. So yeah, it is always a fantastic moment, a moment of joy as well and happiness for all of us, but a moment of also you realize that it's time to get going. It's time to get back to it, get back to work, and yeah, the machine is here that you are going to be fighting with the whole season. So there's a lot of emotion at that moment going on, but it is all, let's say, my favorite moments, because when I was a kid, I was dreaming of being one of the two drivers, that were unveiling the car, taking the covers off, and I'm, privileged and lucky to be doing that again. Hours of work, thousands of people I've worked on that, and I'm taking the cover off. So yeah, it's a huge honor.
Awesome. Well, Esteban, as always, a pleasure to chat. Good luck this season.
Likewise. Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Well, Pierre, Happy New Year. Happy birthday. How does it feel to be here at Enstone and as an Alpine driver?
Well, I'm very excited. It's my first proper day at work in 2023 with the guys at the factory. So I'm still getting used to my new environment, my new habitat now, because I guess I'll spend quite a lot of time here. But yeah, very excited to start this project. Obviously, started last year to come here, discuss about the new car, discuss with the guys, trying to get the preparation underway and get to know the people I work with and get to know a bit how things work, the way they communicate, which is new to me, but obviously very excited with the sporting side of the project after seeing the progress they made last year, and looking forward to see how much further we will be able to go this season.
Now, I'm slightly jealous that this is your first day at work in 2023.
Well, actually, yeah, in at the factory. But if you would have gone through the training program I've been over the last few weeks, I'm not sure you'll say that. But no, yeah, definitely. I've been in touch with the guys, but it was important just to let them work on what they got to prepare for this season. And I'm coming here, staying a couple of days, simulator, and yeah, some more meetings with the guys, and it's good to see them face to face. We've been on visio, but then it's always better to see face to face.
How intense was that training block? 'Cause I know the winter is always quite tough because it's the best chance to get a good training block in.
I mean, to be fair, this year I didn't feel like I had so much of a break. I didn't, because I know this coming season is going to be quite intense. A lot of traveling, 23 races, and I just like to feel really fit, and something I've really improved myself in the last 3 years probably, and just it's a personal challenge just to see year to year I'm making progress, I'm improving myself, and what a time for me to be alive. I just turned 27. I'm fitter than ever. I'm in a very happy place mentally. I've got this brand new project with Alpine, very exciting journey which is about to start. So now I'm just in a very happy place right now, and just eager to get back in the car and get racing again.
So you bring a ton of experience from Red Bull, your time at AlphaTauri. How's all of that combined with that really tough training regime that you've done over the winter going to help you really attack this campaign?
Well, I do feel it actually from year to year. You just feel more experienced, and I feel you just get like a clearer picture of your needs and what you require as a driver to extract the best of yourself. So I'm probably stronger in my desires on what I want or what I need from the team to perform and feel like in the environment I need to be at my best. And then after, it's about understanding how to get the maximum out of the team, what to give them or how to provide them with in terms of technical feedbacks, your experience to basically go forward and move forward together. So from what I've seen so far, I'm really impressed with the whole facilities, the whole technical team, the staff. Definitely sort of increase or improvements compared to AlphaTauri in the size of the team and the amount of people they got here. And then no surprise where they've been competitive last season to get this fourth place in the championship, and the motivation you can feel inside the building also pleased me a lot, because you see that it's not an end goal for them. They want to go for more. They want to show more, and that's the sort of mentality and spirit that I'll bring to the team.
Is that the kind of plan for you as well, to really come in and really lead from the front, use that experience that you said, that confidence that you've got to really go and hopefully drag this team forward?
I think it's not about bringing something which is new, it's just implementing and coming with, my freshness, my speed, my youth and my motivation, dedication, trying to bring the discipline that I put myself on a daily basis with training, getting myself as prepared as I can, this mentality to the team, which they have already, from what I've seen. So there is not really big changes to not even like massive changes to be made, but it's more trying to show my commitment to the team, that I'm here to win, I'm here to give them the best of myself, and we need every single person in that team to also give the best they can to allow us to perform and fight against the big top three. But I definitely see we have all the tools available. Speaking with Otmar, speaking with Laurent, with Alan, they also have like a very clear plan on what they need to make the next step to get closer to that top three runners. And I think it's just a matter of time. So in the meantime, I'll be there to push them on a daily basis, and then I'm really looking forward to see what we'll be able to achieve once we hit the track with that new car.
So you arrive at Alpine, a team that finished fourth in the Constructors last year, and they were really strong throughout their development phase and delivered a car that was maybe risky and slightly unreliable, but really got the big points. How exciting is that for you to have that car underneath you this year?
Yeah, I was a bit of collateral damage of all their development at the start of the year, so they did give me pain every time to see the gap that was increasing race after race. And from the moment I signed the deal, I kept a very close eye on their development, and I could see they were making huge step every 3-4 races. So I guess it just brings the confidence in the fact that they're really understanding what they're doing on the car, which is what you want at the end of the day. You've got a starting point, but then what matters is just to make these small continuous steps through the year. So no, it's been a pretty impressive season. I know there is more to come from the team, and we'll push for more in this season.
It was great that Alpine obviously made that step up to be the fourth best team, but the gap between you guys and the top three is still quite big. How feasible is it to shut that gap this year?
The more I age, the more I hate these questions, because I know there is no magic answer to that question. It's obviously, the target for everyone here is to close that gap and be able to fight weekend after weekend for podiums and for wins. At some point, how much we're going to be able to close that gap over one winter is extremely hard to say, because it depends on what others have been doing. And I'm going to be fully honest with you, I literally had no interest to hear or listen or try to understand what others are doing. Just been really focusing on ourselves, trying to just do our work properly and as good as we could. And once we hit the track, we'll see how far we are. But I think as long as we don't put the car on the track, we can't really understand whether the gap is closer or bigger, or we might even be faster than some of them. So for now, we don't really have any answers, but for sure, I think the most important is more about the attitude and the work ethic. And so far, from what I've seen, I've been really impressed, and I have no doubt that this will drive it to the top at some point. Yeah.
Have you spent much time with Otmar and Laurent? I know you've been busy training and the winter's not been that long, but have you spent a lot of time with them, and will you spend a lot of time in the coming days?
Yeah, end of last year, we did spend quite a lot of time together. I mean, it's all relative, with everybody's scale is not that easy, but I've been in touch with them. I've seen them a couple of times. I think since the start of the year, it was important just to give everybody some space and time to focus on their own thing, and really wanted to focus on my training. So been mainly focusing on that the first couple of weeks of January, but still being in touch with them at times, just to make sure. It's always nice to know that everything is going as planned and everything is on rails, and then it's all ready for the start of the season. So so far from what I heard, car is all set and ready to go for Bahrain, and we've sort of matched our expectations over the winter. So now it's all about getting to the track and seeing how it behaves.
When you were chatting to Laurent and to Otmar, what goals have they set for you this season?
Well, as a driver, it's obviously like your speed, your attitude towards the team, the work ethic, and how much you're pushing them. Feedback, like technical feedback, to help the guys developing the car in the right areas and making the right improvements. And I think that's where I've kind of developed myself in having more specific and sharper, or like more precise feedbacks exactly on what we need to go faster over the years. So I think that will be the main thing. But it's on the track and off the track, you have so much to bring to the guys because you're working with over 1,000 people at the factory. So you're the last one to jump in the car and be fast. And doing fast lap is one thing, and I'll do that weekend after weekend. But then after, it's also what you bring when you're not in the car and getting the team to function at their best and also make the right progress through the season.
It's an all-French lineup with Esteban alongside it. I know you guys have known each other for a long time. What do you think you can expect from that relationship? I know, again, you've not get to spend much time with him, but I guess you'll spend a bit of time with him as the year goes on.
I probably spend more time with him in the last 2 months than over the last probably 5 to 6 years. So no, I mean it's been fun. We have had a couple of activities together, and I think it's been quite good as a team build up to get this time of the racing tracks, and just being able to discuss, and not even about Formula One, but just about all sort of various topics. And no, it's been good, honestly. I know Esteban is a very fast and talented driver. He's been working with the team now for the last couple of years, so he's well, let's say, installed in this environment, and I think he's got a lot to bring to the team. And then I'm excited to be working kind of team up together to push the team in the right direction. And I think we're going to be a very strong lineup. I have no doubt that we'll be able to do what's needed for the team and be able to fight for top positions.
How long do you think it's going to take you to kind of settle in? Because you just mentioned, obviously, Esteban's had this benefit of being here for a couple of years now. How long do you think it's going to take you to get up to speed?
Well, can't really put a certain amount of time. Sometimes it goes really fast. Jump in the car and everything clicks, and it's just natural. Things are very easy. Sometimes it takes 2-3 races, or sometimes it takes 6 months, or it's very difficult to say. But that's why I think over the winter I've tried to really work with my engineering team, trying to get down to all the different communications, way of working we'll have during race weekends, what I need during the races, qualifying, the weekend formats, talking about car setup, behaviors, etc. So at least we know when we hit the track, it's not the first time that we're kind of talking about these different points. So after, it's mainly the winter, you're talking and assuming and guessing, but at the end of the day, you just gotta jump in the car, get a feel for it, and then straight away you understand, okay, that feels sort of natural. Or I always takes a few laps, a few days to get down to the last couple of hundreds and the last bits of potential that you have in the car. But I'm not too worried for that. It's more about feeling prepared, getting to the track, going through the whole to-do list and all the stuff that we got to cover, and then after the rest we'll see from Bahrain.
So just coming to the end of the year, what would quantify as a good year for you?
I'm not answering that question. If you ask me, I want to win 23 races, and that's why I'm pushing every single day in my life, is to just feel to get that winning feeling, and if you ask me, it's very difficult to say I'll be happy with like that amount of top 5 or that amount of podiums or wins. I think it's more feeling that we extracted the maximum from the package that we have. I think from the team point of view, I think at least minimum to get the fourth place in the constructors, with a slightly more dominant way, improving the reliability and closing that gap with the top 3. If we have an opportunity to attack one of these top 3, then we'll obviously do it. But it's difficult to say personally. I hope that we will be able to fight for podiums a couple of times this season, and then if there is opportunity for more, we'll obviously go for it.
And finally, the big question: are you missing Yuki?
You know what? I've seen him over the winter, so it doesn't feel like we really broke up. I was training in Dubai for a few weeks, and he came there, so we had nice dinner together, a couple of trainings, played some football games. I brought him to the karting track, and we actually did a lot. When I think about it, I've seen him a lot. So great guy, and I'll see him in 3 weeks. And we played football. I didn't tackle him so much, so he's all in one piece. So it was good fun. Yeah.
Otmar, Happy New Year. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Start of the year, expectations, hopes, dreams. How are you feeling about the new season?
Yeah, good. Optimistic, buoyant. We've made some good developments over the winter. Newish driver lineup, half new, but the lineup's new. So, two old friends from the karting days coming together, and having an all French lineup and a French team with 2 guys that are quite young but very experienced and both talented. So I look forward to it.
How much do you think that is going to affect things? You've lost Fernando and all that wealth of experience, but make no mistake, Esteban and Pierre have got a lot of Formula One experience, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, together they're both over 100 races each. They've both have race wins and podium finishes and a good handful of points. They're pretty equal when it comes to the statistics. And the good news is they're great racers and can also drag a good lap out of a car in qualifying. So I look forward to it, and we have to look towards the future. We've got to make progress towards the top 3 and wrestle ourselves in there with them and be competitive with them. And I think the lineup we have now will help us towards that end.
You mentioned that they're old friends from the karting days. I know there's been a few difficulties, I guess, between them over the years. Are you confident that they're going to be a strong lineup this year?
Yeah. So I heard the same, that they had a bit of a falling out perhaps, but they're back to the old days of being friends, and I've seen recent pictures of them flying together up to Northern Europe to do some work, and so they both say they want to put that behind them and work together.
Now let's talk about the car and the performance. Last year, such a strong year for you guys, P4 in the Constructors' Championship. That step up to challenge the big 3 is a big one. How aggressive are you guys going to be this year, and how much can you chip away at that gap?
Well, I think it's more chipping away. The engine regulations are frozen now until 2026, so we focused over the winter on making sure that we had a bit more reliability, and having that reliability from the powertrain just means more points. And if we do that, we'll chip away. And the chassis regs changed marginally, although it did have a big impact. We moved the floor flanks up, and it had a big impact on downforce, but we were able to claw that back and then some. So that's chipping away as well. And like I said, we have 2 competent drivers, so I look forward to having a relatively stronger season in 2023 than we did in 2022.
Enstone had a bit of a facelift a fair few years ago. Is it the fruits of that kind of work? Because it's taken a few years to bed in, and a lot of the people in the right place, and now you starting to put your plan in place that's starting to come through?
Yeah, it is a bit of that. We're not finished yet. You know, we still have some strategic hires to make and add some knowledge that we're lacking a bit. We have great people here, but you know, there's some holes that we need to fill, and we're out actively recruiting. And when that happens, and those people come and join us, and we strengthen our team, we'll be even closer to the top 3.
We've talked a lot about the 100-day. We've talked a lot about the 100-day plan heading into this year. Are you meeting those mini targets within that plan?
Yeah. So the 100-race plan is still our target and our goal, and there's a lot to do in between now and then. But yes, we're monitoring that closely, and it is a matter of tools, methodologies, and people. And that takes time, you know, even if you identify the right skill sets and the people, if they're coming from other teams, they'll be on long notice periods or fixed term contracts that you have to wait till run out. But yeah, we're attracting the right people, and in the meantime, we're putting the methodologies and the tools in place that we need.
Otmar, you've been around in Formula One for a long time, and I don't say that to make you feel old, but Formula One's changed a lot during that period of time. You've got the budget cap, and that affects the way you spend. You have to wait a long time sometimes for some people to come on because of gardening leaves. Just tell me a little bit how challenging that is and whether you have to adjust your targets.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to be one of the first hires at British American Racing when that team started, and I remember in less than 10 months' time, we ended up hiring about 225 people, and that can't happen today. You know, the senior people are, like I said, on fixed-term contracts, sometimes for 2 years, 3 years, usually 3, but you know, sometimes you're a couple years into them, and to be able to hire the right talent group very quickly has changed. It's not as easily done today as it was in the past when people were on 3 or 6 month notice periods, and that's it. So you have to plan around the landscape that you're working in, and we've done that, which is why we've set our goal to be a 100-race goal, which is, you know, depending on how many races a year, it's 4 or 5 years. We're 1 year into that, so we've got another, you know, 3.5 to 4.5 years to get into the top 3 and vie for race wins and ultimately a championship.
Now, I know you haven't been at Enstone for such a long period of time, just around a year, but that's much longer than a lot of your counterparts in other teams. How much does that stability help relative to the fact that the others are going to probably have some instability into the season?
It does. Stability does help, and it helps in both planning and anticipating and understanding, and also in coordinating what you know, the seniors are thinking and what the rest of the company or race team does. So it does help, and when you move things around, it is unstable for a bit. But yeah, we've got a good group of people here, and a good group of seniors, and 2 great drivers. So I look forward to starting the season and seeing where we are with the car relative to the others.
When you look at over the course of this year, and I know you don't want to set maybe specific targets, but what would constitute a good year for you guys?
So a good year for us is you know, being a lot closer to 3rd. There was a big gap between 4th and 3rd last year. You know, being significantly closer to the top 3 and perhaps a little bit further away from 5th. I mean, although we finished 4th, it was a hard-fought year with McLaren. We're only a few points ahead of them by the end. You know, 4th and 5th were nearly equal on points, and 3rd was a long way away. So we want to get significantly closer to 3rd, and you know, be a solid 4th this year, and look to move even closer the year after.
Matt, great to see you. Happy New Year, or belated Happy New Year.
Thank you.
A new season awaits for Alpine, and it was such a strong one for you guys in 2022. How aggressive have you been over the winter, and what can we expect from 2023?
Yeah, we've been very aggressive. You know, we started this car in Q4 of 2021. So, you know, there's always things that you wish you have done on some of your long lead time things, and we had those covered. So we've been very aggressive with the car. We also learned a lot from 2022, how to operate the car, how to develop it, what it responds to, what it doesn't respond to, and we sort of baked that into our A523 plan from the very beginning. And yeah, we've managed to sort of change quite a lot of the car, and for all the good reasons, because obviously we operate a cost-capped environment, so we need to make sure that when we spend our valuable finances, they're in high-performance areas, and that's what we think we've done.
Across the year, you were so strong with development. It felt like you brought something new to every race, and the positive thing was it seemed to correlate and it seemed to work as hoped. What is the plan this year to continue with that kind of quite attacking approach? Because I know reliability-wise, it did always quite work out.
That's right. I mean, firstly, I'd like to say I'm very proud of that development path that we took last year. It was a strategic decision we took at the start. And the teams worked very well together with Livery and Enstone, and and inside Enstone as well with the aerodynamics department and the engineering office to get those upgrades onto the car. And you're absolutely correct. They were all performant at the circuit, so our tools are sharp, and we're quite proud of that. But this year we're going to take it to another level. We want to push even harder. We know more about the car now. We know where to focus more so. So yeah, we really do plan to try and show our mettle again through the season.
Matt, when you were looking at the development plan for this year, and like you were aggressive last year as well, with the regulations being a little bit more stable, did that kind of help kind of define the pathway that you wanted to go? Because I guess at least you've got a good base level to work off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one aspect of that is kind of modularity of the car. When we launched the A523, we had to bake in quite a lot of modularity into the car to make sure that we had development options. And actually we've been able to take a lot of that out because we now know where the key areas are, and that's obviously helped with our car weight, which is going to be a much more enhanced and performant position than we were last year. And I think that's one big thing we learnt. And also that you do need to focus very much so on those aerodynamic components. There is always a temptation to delve into some of the mechanical systems, but in the race year, inside that development, it's much more cost effective for performance to be concentrating on those aerodynamic upgrades.
When we look at the car, how much do you think we're going to notice differences from last year into this year, and how much work is there actually underneath that we'll never really get to see?
Yeah, there's a lot of work under the bonnet, as they say. There's quite a lot of work there with Livery. We've done an awful lot with them on the power units together to make sure that the integration of it takes another step, and we found a lot of performance there, but also in some of the reliability aspects where the integration of those two components gave us a few issues last year. But actually, we've had a very strong validation program, and that's been very good, and I don't expect to see those problems. And in fact, we're very proud of where we've got to on our mileage to date. In terms of development, we've changed the car pretty much front to back. You'll see something new in the front of the car and suspension on the front wing. You'll see a similar bodywork concept, but very much more enhanced. The rear suspension has been changed. We've had a look around some of the aspects of our suspension carrier and gearbox systems, and obviously the cooling system has been enhanced as well, where we found quite a bit of performance from actually knowing more about the duties of this car and how it operates in different conditions at the circuit. So yeah, it's pretty comprehensive.
When we head to Bahrain for testing, again, like the same for everyone, 3 days, it's not a lot of running, but because it's the second year of these regulations, can you be a bit more attacking slightly quicker because you've kind of got a baseline of the car? And
yeah, absolutely. We've got a very strong development plan for those days. It's not a lot of time. We've worked tirelessly to make sure that the car runs seamlessly for those 3 days. We've got a filming day coming up, which will allow us to have first sighter of that. And I think the whole idea is to make sure that every kilometre counts. It's not so much about massive numbers of kilometres. It's about that learning of the car's handling. We've got some interesting tests to conduct, and you'll see some of that visually, and some of it you won't.
Talking to the drivers now, you've got one new guy in Pierre coming into the team, and I know it would take a little bit of time to get used to him and his feedback, but it must be really good to have another driver coming in with so much experience from teams like Red Bull as well, who've won races in the past, and then have Esteban, who's a bit more of a balance, so you've kind of got a comparison from year to year as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's great having Pierre in the team. We've really clicked, and it's been great to have his view and that different aspect. It's always different things that happen in different teams. It's incredible how differently we go about things and achieve lap times that are so similar to each other. But obviously, we'd like them to be even closer personally. I think Pierre is going to be a real great thing for our team. They're both young, enthusiastic, tenacious drivers, and they're willing to push us as an engineering team, and that's what we want. we want to know their direction. We've got a hell of a lot of measurements on the car. We have a lot of data analytics that we use to drive the car, but we need that comfort of the driver's feedback, and we need to know where they want it to go and whether we develop it in the right direction. So, yeah, it's been interesting, and it's been great to show Pierre, what we're planning for next year and what's coming, and I think he's been pretty pleased with what we've got planned.
With Esteban, I guess that he's really grown as a driver over the last couple of years. Have you seen him grow from a technical perspective in terms of the feedback that he gives, and just the way that maybe through the weekend he can maybe get up to speed and into a rhythm much quicker?
Yeah, he's a very experienced driver, but he's growing with us as a team, and his work in the simulator, but also at the circuit is really, really important to us. And also, he pushes us. We're a high performance team. We need to have good conversations with each other. When we see opportunities or he sees opportunities, he needs to make sure that they're clear and concise for us, and then we will deliver them. So I think, the two of them together, I think I'm quite excited to get into the season and see how we race.